By 73, you learn that companionship can heal, but it can also quietly undo years of hard-earned peace. They were chosen carefully, gifted lovingly, or carried from one house to another as life unfolded. They soften a room, quiet a step, and make a place feel warm and lived in. For decades, they did exactly what they were meant to do. But after 70, something subtle begins to change, not in the rug itself, but in how the body meets the floor beneath it. Balance is no longer something we take for granted. The feet lift a little less, the stride shortens slightly, and reflexes take just a fraction longer to respond. None of this feels dramatic. Most people don't notice it happening. That is what makes loose rugs so dangerous. They don't announce themselves as threats. They sit there, familiar and trusted, waiting for a moment when the body misjudges by just an inch. Many falls happen not during big movements, but during ordinary ones. A rug edge curls just enough. A runner slides just slightly. There is also something emotional, tied to rugs that makes this topic difficult. Removing them can feel like giving something up. It is about respect. Respect for how the body has carried us for so many years, and how it now asks for steadiness instead of softness. Warmth, too, plays a role. What the body needs more than warmth is predictability. But falls are not moral failures. They are mechanical events. They happen when friction, balance, and timing don't line up. No amount of intention can fully override physics. This is why even confident, capable people fall, and why prevention matters more than confidence. There is also the quiet consequence of a fall that doesn't get discussed enough. The way independence starts to shrink, not because of age, but because of fear. Loose rugs play a larger role in this story than most realize. Letting go of a rug does not erase its meaning. The memory stays. The warmth can be replaced in safer ways. What matters is protecting the ability to move freely, without constant vigilance. Floors that are clear and steady offer something precious, confidence. And confidence, once shaken, is far harder to restore than any decoration ever was. Light shapes how we move through the world, yet most people don't think about it until it begins to fail them. In younger years, the eyes adjust quickly. Shadows are decoded without effort. Depth is judged almost instinctively. But as the decades pass, vision changes in ways that are gradual and easy to overlook. It is about how the brain interprets what the eyes receive, especially in low light. When lighting is poor, the brain fills in gaps, and sometimes it fills them in incorrectly. People begin to slow down, not because they want to, but because they feel unsure. They shuffle instead of stepping. They reach for walls and furniture. They avoid moving at night unless absolutely necessary. This shrinking of movement often happens silently, long before any actual injury occurs. The home, which once felt familiar and welcoming, begins to feel unpredictable after dark. Nighttime is especially vulnerable. Waking to use the bathroom, responding to a sound, or checking on something half awake places the body in a delicate state. Balance is already reduced when transitioning from sleep. Blood pressure shifts. Muscles are not fully alert. In this state, dim lighting becomes more than inconvenient. Soft lamps, low-watt bulbs, and decorative lighting may look pleasant, but they often leave important areas underlit. Hallways, stairways, and bathrooms are frequently the darkest spaces in a house. Even though they are the most traveled, familiarity tricks people into thinking they know these spaces well enough to navigate them without help. But familiarity does not compensate for reduced visual processing. There is also a quiet pride that gets in the way. Needing more light can feel like an admission of decline. Some people resist brighter bulbs because they don't want their home to look harsh, or because they believe it signals weakness. But light is not a symbol of loss. It is a tool of independence. Clear visibility allows the body to move naturally, without caution or fear. Good lighting does more than prevent falls. It supports orientation. The home feels supportive again, rather than demanding constant attention. Light also plays a role in emotional well-being. Darkness can amplify loneliness and unease. It reassures the nervous system that the environment is under control. This sense of control matters deeply as other aspects of life become less predictable. It is about ensuring the paths are clear, transitions are visible, and the eyes are never forced to guess. And that clarity, quietly and steadily, helps preserve the confidence that allows people to keep living on their own terms. Over the years, a home slowly fills with the evidence of a life fully lived. Chairs are added, where rest was once needed. Tables collect stacks of papers meant to be sorted later. Boxes are placed carefully against walls with the promise of someday being opened again. None of this happens suddenly. But after 70, the way the body moves through space begins to change. Steps are not as wide. Turns are not as quick. Reaction time softens. What once felt like plenty of room can quietly become narrow and unforgiving. A hallway that easily held a small table now feels tight. A bedroom path that curves around a chair requires more attention than it used to. The body notices these changes even when the mind resists them. It removes the margin for error that younger bodies rely on less. When something unexpected happens, they begin to walk closer to walls. They memorize routes through rooms. They avoid certain areas altogether. These adaptations feel clever at first, a way of staying independent without changing the environment. Movement becomes cautious rather than natural. The home starts to feel like an obstacle course instead of a refuge. A stack of magazines marks years of quiet evenings. A box holds items that once defined identity or purpose. Letting go can feel like erasing pieces of oneself. It is an act of respect for the life already lived. There is dignity in being able to walk through one's home without fear of catching a foot or bumping a hip. This ease is deeply tied to independence. When movement feels safe, people are more likely to stay active, engaged, and present in their own lives. Clutter also affects the mind. Visual overload can increase anxiety and fatigue, especially as processing speed changes with age. A crowded room asks the brain to make constant decisions about where to look and how to move. Shifting furniture to open a straight path. Choosing safety over sentiment in small, thoughtful ways. These changes do not diminish a life. They protect it. When pathways widen, something else opens as well. And in that regained ease, there is a quiet affirmation that caring for oneself is not a loss of independence, but one of its most enduring forms. Bathrooms are often the smallest rooms in the house, yet they carry some of the greatest risks as bodies age. They were designed decades ago for strength, balance, and flexibility that once felt effortless. Hands are often occupied. Vision may be adjusting to steam or low light. Movements that require bending, twisting, or lowering the body become more complex. Most falls in these spaces do not happen because someone was careless. They happen because the room itself offers no forgiveness. Low toilets are one of the most overlooked challenges. Sitting down and standing up requires strength in the legs, hips, and core. What once felt like a simple motion can turn into a slow, straining effort. When the body hesitates or loses alignment, there is often nothing nearby to hold. The danger is not only falling, but the fear that follows. Once confidence is shaken, even routine trips to the bathroom can carry tension. Showers and tubs present their own quiet threats. Stepping over a tub edge demands balance and flexibility at the same time. Wet surfaces reduce friction. Soap removes grip from both feet and hands. Many older adults adapt by moving more slowly, bracing against walls, or holding towel racks that were never meant to support weight. What makes bathroom hazards especially difficult is the emotional resistance to change. Many people worry that small changes will make their home feel medical or unfamiliar, as if comfort must be sacrificed for safety. But safety does not have to announce itself. A non-slip surface can blend into existing flooring. There is also a deeper kindness in making these changes before an accident forces them. Falls in bathrooms often lead to serious injuries because the space is hard and confined. Recovery can be long and isolating. Preventing that moment preserves not only physical health, but confidence and routine. The body no longer braces itself in anticipation of slipping. This relief is subtle, but powerful. It is about honoring the years that have been lived by ensuring they are not cut short by avoidable harm. A home should support the person living in it, not challenge them at their most vulnerable moments. When a bathroom becomes a place of steadiness rather than risk, something shifts internally as well. There is less tension, less rushing, less fear. In that quiet ease, independence continues, not as a memory of the past, but as a living, breathing part of the present. Stairs rarely announce themselves as a problem. They remain exactly where they have always been, with the same number of steps, the same turn at the landing, the same familiar creak beneath the feet. What changes is not the staircase, but the body moving across it. Strength, balance, vision, and reaction time shift slowly, often without clear notice. By the time stairs feel demanding, the risk has already been present for years. Each step requires lifting the body's full weight while maintaining balance on a narrow surface. Going down is even more complex, asking the body to control momentum while trusting depth perception. When knees stiffen slightly, when ankles lose a bit of flexibility, or when breath comes just a little faster, stairs begin to demand focus instead of flowing naturally. Many older adults adapt quietly. They slow their pace. They pause halfway. These adjustments feel sensible, even responsible. But they also signal that the body is working harder than before. A solid handhold can turn a risky movement into a stable one. Without it, a moment of imbalance has nowhere to go. Even a slight misstep can become a fall, simply because there is nothing to catch it. Handrails are not signs of frailty. They are tools that respect physics and aging alike. Worn edges and smooth step surfaces add another layer of risk. Years of use can round corners and reduce grip. Carpet can loosen. Wood can polish itself slick. These changes are gradual and easy to overlook because they happen in a familiar space. Yet the foot relies on friction and clear edges to judge placement. When that feedback weakens, confidence fades and hesitation increases. Lighting and contrast matter more on stairs than in almost any other part of the home. Steps that blend together visually force the body to guess where one ends and the next begins. That moment of uncertainty is enough to disrupt rhythm. Clear contrast on step edges, consistent lighting, and visible transitions reduce mental strain as much as physical risk. Outdoor steps often present their own challenges. Weather wears surfaces down. Leaves, moisture, and uneven ground turn a short set of steps into a serious hazard. Because these steps are used less frequently, they may not receive the same attention as indoor stairs. Yet they are often encountered while carrying items, navigating darkness, or moving quickly to answer a door. What makes stair hazards especially difficult is pride. Many people measure their independence by their ability to climb stairs. Admitting that stairs feel harder can feel like admitting decline. But independence is not proven by avoiding support. It is preserved by choosing it early enough to stay upright, mobile, and confident. Improved lighting reduces hesitation. Clear edges remove guesswork. These adjustments do not announce age. They quietly remove obstacles. They allow the body to move as it still can, without forcing it to compensate for unnecessary challenges. Stairs should connect spaces, not create fear between them. When they demand more than the body can comfortably give, they begin to limit life itself. Rooms go unused, outings are delayed, confidence shrinks. It is about keeping the full home accessible, usable, and welcoming. As the years advance, the relationship between body and environment becomes more important than ever. In that steadiness, independence continues, not through effort alone, but through thoughtful care for the spaces that carry us each day. What once could be sidestepped, stepped over, or pivoted around now demands attention and care. Furniture that never seemed in the way before can become a silent challenge, shaping how rooms are used and how confidently someone moves through them. Heavy chairs, low tables, and dense clusters of belongings create tight corners where missteps become more likely. Sharp edges are not just a nuisance. They are potential hazards waiting for a moment of inattention. Even familiar pathways through the living room or bedroom require calculations the mind did not need in youth. These obstacles are not obvious threats. They are the kind that quietly slow the pace of life, reducing ease and comfort long before a fall ever occurs. Tight layouts do more than test physical balance. They subtly impact the way people plan movement. One must pause to navigate around a coffee table or angle the body to avoid bumping into a chair. These adjustments demand microfocus, which, over time, can create tension in the shoulders, back, and joints. The mind learns to anticipate potential collisions, and movement shifts from natural rhythm to cautious calculation. Even a simple task, like retrieving a book or stepping into the kitchen, carries small, repeated burdens that accumulate across the day. Furniture placement also influences recovery if a stumble occurs. When walking becomes less automatic, the body relies on environmental cues and available surfaces to maintain balance. Awareness of these risks is not a sign of weakness. It is a mark of wisdom in understanding how surroundings interact with a changing body. Rearranging furniture need not mean empty rooms or minimalist coldness. It is about thoughtful alignment, allowing clear pathways, reducing unnecessary turns, and creating intuitive routes through frequently used spaces. These changes respect the life already lived while prioritizing the safety and comfort of daily movement. Light placement can highlight pathways and make obstacles more visible, reducing strain on both the eyes and the mind. These simple changes honor the body's current needs without asking anyone to surrender their cherished surroundings or sense of style. The emotional benefit of a well-planned space is as important as the physical. Moving freely without hesitation restores independence and mental ease. There is comfort in knowing that the home, which has been a place of refuge for decades, continues to support life instead of complicating it. Confidence returns when the body trusts the space to cooperate, and with that trust comes willingness to remain active, engaged, and joyful. Ultimately, furniture placement after 75 is a reflection of care for oneself. By adapting the environment thoughtfully, seniors preserve dignity, reduce strain, and ensure that their home remains a sanctuary, welcoming, safe, and fully alive with the rhythms of a life well lived. Movement flows, confidence grows, and the space itself becomes an ally, helping each day to pass with ease, freedom, and peace.